Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I think we'll just wait sort of about a minute or so just to let everyone log in, and then we'll get going this morning. So, good morning, everyone, on this bright and sunny spring morning. Welcome to the Axiom webinar, Higher Education, How to Plan and Manage Through Financial Uncertainty with Applied Financial Intelligence. We're going to talk about some of the financial challenges within the HE sector and how you can better plan for your I&E and manage cash for uncertain times, uncertain outcomes using Axiom's unified platform for Agile planning. So just some quick introductions here. Axiom Software is a provider of enterprise performance management software, and we've been working with a number of universities globally, including UCL here at the UK for around 9 years for their planning, reporting and analytics solutions. I'm Lex Macariu. I'm the host for this meeting, and I've worked with Axiom EPM in the UK for around 12 years now, and I'm heading up our business solutions team. I've worked in consultancy for around 25 years in enterprise performance management, and I've worked on a number of consulting projects, including Toyota, Capita, Heineken, and UCL, to name a few. Julian Carter is a higher education lead in the team. He brings a breadth of knowledge in the higher education sector, having spent around 20 years working in finance departments at a number of UK universities. He's been with Axiom for just over 3 years, but has worked on with the Axiom product for around 9 years. And Catherine Barnes is our technical sales consultant at Axiom and is currently focused on creating and redefining our sector-specific offerings. She's done a lot of research around the financial issues facing higher education, which she's going to cover in today's presentation. Both Julian and Catherine have done a lot of work adapting our higher education offerings to work with a challenging, changing and unpredictable marketplace to make our solutions agile, easy to use, and help us navigate through difficult financial challenging landscape. But before we start, just a quick note on housekeeping. Thank you. We're going to keep you on mute throughout the session. If you've got any questions, submit these through the question icon on the top right-hand side of your panel, and we'll pick these up at the end of the session. Please help yourself to the handouts on the right-hand side, the same panel. We've got a higher education white paper and also a brochure. The session's been recorded, so we'll be able to share this with you, and then you can share it with among your colleagues. And if you have any additional questions after the session, then just email us on hello@axiomepm.co.uk. I'll briefly just run through the agenda this morning. Catherine's going to run through her findings on the challenges facing higher education. As we're probably all aware, there are a number of challenges facing the HE sector today, from the fallout of Brexit to the impact of COVID, as well as long-term uncertainty around pension deficits. Here at Axiom, we've done some impact analysis to find out how these are impacting the finances of universities nationwide, and also the pressures on medium and longer term finance. At the end of each slide, we're going to do an interactive poll to find out how close our findings are to your institution, and we're really interested to see how close they are. We'll then hand over to Julian, who will introduce us to Axiom software platform, specific higher education modules and solutions available to HE finance teams, many of which are used at UCL as well as other leading universities worldwide. We'll take a high-level look at these modules and how they can be used for a more cohesive, joined-up number of planning and reporting processes. Julian and Catherine will then discuss how we can overcome the challenges using Agile planning. We'll just illustrate this with a quick walk through our cash flow management module in a little more detail to understand how this can be used to capture low level working capital and cash movements to enable us to produce both an indirect and direct cash flow. We'll have a quick summary of the items we've covered, take a look through the poll results before we open up for a Q&A at the end, and then talk about our follow-up webinars in March at BuffDug, and also a deeper dive into some of our solutions, which we hope you'll be able to join us for. So I'll hand over to Catherine.
Thank you, Lex. I'm now going to discuss some of the challenges that are currently facing in the HE market. Brexit has posed some questions about how UK universities will interact with EU students, workforce and partners in the future. Universities must now consider new legislation such as the EU settlement scheme, which could impact whom they can recruit. EU student recruitment in the years to come could also be affected, as new visa requirements such as proof of funds could act as a barrier to some lower income students. Furthermore, questions around research grant availability from EU partners remain unanswered. Universities should now begin to model how changes in fee income will impact upon their financial performance. Government lockdowns, tiered systems, and evolving safety guidance has meant universities have had to adapt quickly to changing landscapes during COVID-19. Some of the key risks associated with this pandemic are a fall in international students, an increase in home deferrals, and loss of income from student accommodation, catering, and conferences. A recent study of student attitudes during the pandemic only confirmed that these are real challenges. 27% of students claim that they would not move into university managed accommodation during fully remote learning provisions. Remote learning has also driven up costs for universities. Universities have witnessed increased capital expenditure for IT equipment and resources required for delivering and supporting online learning. An increase in refund petitions and applications for student accommodation have also occurred. Subsequently, a higher emphasis should now be placed on cash management. Universities also face evolving government guidance and laws surrounding the coronavirus pandemic. They must find new ways of accounting for volatile external drivers in their planning processes. I'm now going to discuss the financial impact of COVID-19 and Brexit on the UK higher education sector. We'll be doing a poll asking you to answer a quick question at the end of each slide to see if our findings match that of your experiences. UK universities are yet to see a change in fee income sources. The UK government agreed to allow no changes in fees for the 2020 to 2021 academic year, which can explain the steady fee income. However, with new visa restrictions and the introduction of the EU settlement scheme, it is unknown if this trend will continue over the next few years. By applying scenario planning, universities can measure the impact of different enrolment figures and their impact on fee income and split. Please head over to the poll and answer question number 1. Have you seen a decrease in overseas fee income? I'll just give you about 20 seconds to do this. COVID-19 has forced the UK government into imposing social distancing restrictions. Subsequently, universities must now operate via a hybrid model, providing online services to their students who are not studying essential courses such as medicine. As learning has moved online, universities have adapted and invested in online learning platforms and provisions. Such tools must be safe for use, incurring security investments. This graph demonstrates the impact of which such expenses have had on expenditure between 2019 and 2021. The 2% increase in income could be considered a standard rate of inflation. However, the expenditure has increased by 10%, which is proportionately very high. We are unable to measure the future impact of this expenditure, as it is hard to predict the returns of these expenses without further information. This reinforces the importance of agile planning, as institutions need to adapt as new information comes to light. Please now head over to the poll and answer question number 2. Have you seen your expenditure increase more than your income? This graph demonstrates a steady decline in surplus between 2018 and 2021. The exact reasons for this decline are unknown. However, this will impact cash flow, and such an effect should be planned for accordingly. The outcomes of multiple scenarios can be measured and used to plan for future variances in surplus. Please now head over to the poll and answer question number 3. Have you seen a reduction in your surplus? This graph clearly demonstrates a steady decline in cash flow from operating activities as a percentage of income between 2018 and 2021 for UK universities. This could be explained by reduced service provisions from predominant operating income streams, including retail, conferences and events, and student residencies. This metric is key as it provides an indication of the financial health of an institution in terms of its day-to-day operations. Subsequently, future variances in cash flow need to be modelled and managed effectively through scenario planning and analysing movements in key cash items. In doing so, universities can mitigate the risk of facing significant operational challenges. Please head over to the poll and answer question number 4. Have you seen a fall in cash flow from operating activities? The lack of surplus and declining cash flow represented previously has led to an increase in aggregate sector borrowing. This graph demonstrates an increase between 2018 and 2021, including borrowings from government-backed schemes. This uptake in borrowing could be explained by an increase in investment for university campus development and improvements. UK universities face exceptional competition from both domestic and international providers, and improving their facilities is now viewed as a means of remaining competitive in the market. Furthermore, interest rates are presently low, increasing the uptake of loans. Please now head over to the poll and answer question number 5. Have you seen an increase in borrowing?
Thanks, Catherine. Just going to quickly go through the results of the poll whilst it's fresh in our minds. So if you could bring up the next slide. So the first one was pretty, well, very even actually. So it was around 47% each, and unsure is 5%. What I would say is obviously that's a mixed picture over the whole country, and it's different for different institutions. I think at UCL we found the split was pretty much the same. So as those graphs indicate, but obviously that their anticipation of overseas income was a decline because of a couple of factors due to COVID, and also the impact of Brexit. So it's kind of interesting that there's a mixed view on that one. The expenditure one, again, pretty mixed actually. So 44% say there's been an increase, and 38% no, and unsure 16%. Obviously, our findings are that the impact of COVID last year had an increase on spending, although some of that may well have been capital expenditure, so not having a massive impact on expenditure, and some of that would be long-term infrastructure changes to allow remote learning and implementing security around logins, especially around international logins as well. So that's what we found. We spoke to Brunel about that, and they said there was a whole big push to put security in for remote learning, as well as handling the volume. Reduction in surplus, probably again mixed, but probably a knock on from the other two questions. Obviously, if there's an increase in expenditure and a reduction in overseas income, then that's going to have an impact on your surplus. For all of these three things, it's good to have a sort of agile scenario planning system that allow you to mix and match different scenarios, as we could see different impacts again in September. So obviously with COVID and Brexit, as I've mentioned, could well see impacts on all three of those. Interestingly, this one, a fall in cash flow from operations, probably slightly above 50%. Unsure is 37. So yeah, that's going to be probably in line with the surplus as well. So in terms of having surplus to allow you to spend money on operations. And borrowing, again, unsure, 33. We've seen an increase in borrowing for universities, and that's to do with improvements. So if we take again UCL as an example, they've got a massive capital expenditure to build a new campus. Good news is obviously that interest rates are low, as Catherine mentioned. But even so, when we are borrowing, we are going to still need to provide banks and lenders with solid financial forecasts that backed up with evidence to enable institutions to secure these funds. So really important that we have kind of stabilised forecasts. Okay, thank you, Catherine.
Thanks, Lex. So it is clear that the current challenges have had some impact on financial performance. But how should these new challenges shape the way that you plan? It is unknown how long the UK will continue to face the mentioned challenges. The challenges ahead are unforeseen and unpredictable. However, universities can mitigate risks and remain proactive by adopting scenario planning. Axiom scenario planning can help you plan for every eventuality by planning for multiple outcomes. Agile planning methodologies go hand in hand with scenario planning. Yes, you want to be able to plan for outcomes, but you also need to be able to react to evolving environments quickly and adapt to new landscapes. Getting the right information to the right people effectively is key for efficient decision making, and Axiom's real-time reporting capabilities can equip you with the tools to empower teams to drive strategies from actionable financial insights. The financial picture I have painted of higher education reinforces the need for effective cash management. With unforeseen costs and a decline in some income sources, managing cash is now more important than ever. Axiom's cash management tool can help you build an accurate statement of cash flow forecasting, leveraging the unified aspect of the platform. Axiom goes above and beyond standard cash flow management and provides detailed analytics of working capital figures and cash KPIs.
Thanks, Catherine. I'm now going to go over some of the financial pressures affecting higher education at the moment. I'm going to discuss a bit about the Axiom software platform and how it can help assist in managing through the pressures you are all currently addressing and preparing you for the future. We have over 50 higher education clients worldwide with some recognisable names as shown on this slide. And we have a dedicated team solely looking at serving higher education, and it forms one of our key 3 verticals, and of which I'm part. And we've been consistently recognised by independent analysts as being able to help higher education clients, as our industry experts are embedded within our implementation teams. Our software provides a single platform for the whole process. So whether from the import of the data, the modelling, your planning, budgeting and forecasting, through to analytics reporting, including dashboards and KPIs, and even back to pushing data into other systems, it's all within one application and one technology. And all this is with a robust security model, enterprise scheduler, and hosted within Microsoft's award-winning Azure cloud. Axiom is designed to be put to work by the people who matter, so it's your people on the ground. It's got an intuitive interface, a self-service approach to report creation, and we ensure that your people spend less time collating and aggregating and more time analysing. It's a cloud solution, as I said, hosted in Microsoft Azure, and that allows your people secure access to the software from anywhere. If you request an update, we take care of it, automatically helping keep your IT team's to-do list down to a right minimum. And we make sure that as no 2 industries share the same operational drivers, risks, or variables, that is why we reject the one-size-fits-all approach to modelling and reporting. Axiom is built upon years of customer partnerships, resulting in planning solutions that reflect industry-specific needs. When you're budgeting, strategy and financial management exists in silos. It's impossible to get a full picture. Axiom removes the need for multiple sources such as your ERP and HR payroll systems and ensures a single view of the truth, something that has earned us top marks from peer reviews. Your reporting requirements, permissions, technical capabilities and processes are unique to your organisation. So why should you be forced to change? This is one of the beauties of Axiom. It allows you to embrace a powerful financial analyst solution while keeping your organisational preferences intact. I'm now going to talk about our higher education solutions in a little more detail. Axiom provides performance management tools for finance teams and executives. It helps you optimize your budget, forecasts and plans, report, and much more. By using Axiom software, finance teams increase their agility and improve data analysis to better understand the drivers that affect their organization. It's built on 30 years of expertise in planning, forecasting, profitability analytics, and cost management. Axiom equips your decision makers for truly effective data-driven decision making. According to Gartner peer reviews, the vast majority of our customers would recommend Axiom software without reservation. Those customers value our powerful forecasting capabilities, flexibility, ease of use, and the ability to customize. It's a single unified platform that makes it easy to manage related processes. Axiom can integrate data from multiple sources into one coherent, optimized data warehouse using its own inbuilt ETL tools. So, for instance, UCL draw in data from every ledger of their Oracle ERP, including HR and payroll, and also student-related data from SITs. We are an official Lucian partner for those of you using Banner for your student-related activities and have clients using our software with a wide variety of data sources, including those listed on the slide and many more. Most clients have their data loads scheduled and automated, including loading permissions. So not only will Axiom use your local logins, it can also bring in departmental permissions from your ERP, or you can manage them locally and independently. With Axiom's budgeting and forecasting module, your higher education finance teams can confidently, quickly, and effectively adapt to uncertain market conditions, leveraging real-time data to acquire insights, accelerated informed decisions, and advanced plans. You can accurately and efficiently model scenarios and reforecast financial plans and budgets to boost your performance. You can seamlessly integrate data into a single repository for planning, analysis, and reporting. And our robust tools automate data integration and establish that single version of truth for data from any source with common definitions that uphold data quality standards. In the sector's ever-changing landscape, you can quickly model and adapt your financial plans to optimize performance with an easy-to-use global driver library that incorporates the right operational drivers into your financial planning model with precision. Our integration of financial planning solutions also unified disparate planning processes from budgeting to forecasting to capital to long-range planning and more scenario modeling. In this increasingly uncertain funding environment, your institution needs access to timely and accurate data around your grants and awards. Axiom Grants Planning module helps you develop an award modelling application, provides an insight into spending plans, enables you to track against actual activity over the project's lifespan. Provides universities with a complete forecast analysis solution, improving transparency and reducing overheads. You can use it to help plan and project grant funding and track them, develop integration into an income and expenditure model, improve how you manage the impact of research activity on your university's finances, and plan and monitor and report on grant funding and spending. With Axiom's powerful, easy-to-use tuition fee planning module, you can create strategies and new opportunities by assessing the potential impact of variable and critical uncertainties. You can model the impact of tuition revenue on budgets and forecasts, compare different courses of decision-making initiatives to accurately project tuition revenue. And you can do that by integrating student and financial admissions data across a range of fees and long-term plans. We support headcount, FTE planning and modeling, and use assumption-based enrollments and conversions to better predict tuition income. You've got unlimited scenario planning to understand the impact of this rapidly changing landscape, and you've got the ability to measure actuals against budgets at any level using Axiom's analytics. You can combine data to forecast staffing decisions. Axiom software helps you handle uncertainty, manage the change and avoid unexpected costs. A budget and planning payroll planning enables you to forecast those vital implications of future staffing decisions in your higher education institution. You can plan for salary and benefit changes by aligning human resources data with assumptions about future increases in budget. You can forecast based on positions or individual employees, factoring in various drivers that impact your staffing. You're able to improve your entire budgeting process by applying different salary forecasts, multiple benefits and rates of increase. Integrate HR and payroll systems, drawing all employee data into a secure system. You can create new staff positions, incorporating salary, funding and appointment data. And again, integrate headcount and FTE planning to provide full visibility. Embrace our robust reporting to understand the current and future financial health of your institution, ensuring the commitments are accurately forecasted and deliver against budget. You can track all your financial commitments against budgets with automated collection and evaluation of data from across your university. The Axiom Commitment Planning module empowers you to centralize data collection for incoming spending requests, track spending by project and funding source, view the impact now and in the future of spending commitments, and centralize commitments across teams, departments, and the whole institution, enabling you to align spending within income and expenditure and track against budgets, and create robust reports to present how commitments align with your strategies for growth. You can keep your institution's broader needs in clear view with Axiom's capital planning and tracking module, and it will help you deliver the insights you need to deploy capital with confidence. Gain the confidence to make your move by fully understanding, does this project actually represent the best use of our university resources, and how will that additional outlay affect cash flow? And will the long-term value justify the short-term costs? The ability to answer these questions is crucial for your long-term financial strategy. By bringing forecasting, capital planning and tracking together, Axiom software empowers you to make a truly data-driven decision supported by numbers that you can trust. You can create, evaluate and rank proposed multi-year capital projects, select the best fit for your university by comparing key metrics, including return on investment, net present value and internal rate of return. You can assess a prospective project's impact on the balance sheet, cash flow and the I&E statement. You can alter plan assumptions and quantify the impact of changing market drivers on proposed capital investments. And you can manage the entire capital planning request and approval process with defined workflows, ownership and due dates using the Axiom software process management feature. And it gives you the ability to model approved projects once they're live for regular updated forecasts for time to completion, incremental costs, total cost and more.
Thank you, Julian. Julian and I are now going to discuss some of the steps to take and tools to adopt to overcome today's challenges. Axiom helps you to be financially agile, respond quickly to changing conditions and pivot with confidence. All of our customers have had to rethink their budgeting processes last year, leveraging Axiom to plan in shorter sprints. For example, UCL switched to a 3-month budgeting cycle rather than an annual budget process. Agile principles are ingrained in every aspect of the Axiom platform. Planning at any level is enabled via a unified platform. You can embrace change and manage risks by modeling scenarios, work collaboratively, sharing data across the institution, and encourage teams to become more effective by reflecting on performance in our reporting and analytics module. The current climate means cash management must change. Higher education institutions can struggle to build an accurate statement of cash flow as they face new and unpredictable drivers because of COVID. Axiom can help institutions to manage, control, and monitor cash management processes by putting the right data in the hands of key decision makers easily and efficiently. We can pull data from multiple systems to report on, making the process simple and saving valuable time. As the landscape is forever evolving, you can monitor your cash surplus regularly, ensuring you have enough cash to run your institution. And you can report at the most granular level to institution-wide. Axiom goes above and beyond standard cash flow management, providing detailed reporting and analytics of working capital numbers and collection behaviours. Here is an example of a cash management homepage. Users are presented with the top-level representation of your institution's cash inflows, outflows, and working capital movements. Axiom can produce both indirect and derived direct cash flow reports. At the top, we can see the cash inflows and outflows displayed as KPIs. These figures are pulled into your derived direct cash flow reports. The annual working capital movements are displayed at a department level and form the basis for your indirect cash flow. This hierarchy can be customized to meet your requirements. Key stakeholders also have transparency of workflow for working capital figure input, making this an effective tool for managing a process. By selecting a department, we can input working capital figures at a granular level. Users can forecast working capital numbers using our custom input report for each department. The first month shown are actuals, being pulled from your source system. You have the option to add new rows, inserting customers as your preferred hierarchy. All tabs are configurable to mirror that of your working capital reporting requirements. The figures in yellow are the working capital movements, opening and closing balances for the year. The difference in these figures is reflected in the cash management homepage. As we can see here, the difference between the opening and closing working capital balance for debtors is 123. Once your team have inputted their forecasted numbers, a comprehensive report can be viewed. Sales ledger data can be pulled directly from your source system, and we can create calculated fields to display key data, such as current year-to-date and fiscal year data as seen in blue. This report can be filtered by movements or balances, year and period, and there is also an option to filter by hierarchy. These hierarchies are custom to your requirements. For this demonstration, users can view the report for company-wide, faculty, division, or department. To demonstrate the power of Axiom to collate multiple data sources, the indirect cash flow report pulls data from both your accounting system and the working capital movements reports. For example, the income and expenditure figures are pulled directly from your income statement and are used to calculate your EBITDA. The working capital movements can be seen below. The arrow points towards the trade creditor movements, which were originally forecasted on the working capital input report. Axiom's powerful dashboarding capabilities can be leveraged to quickly identify red flags and get important decision-making data to key stakeholders. For example, our Receipts tab has been designed to identify the institution's effectiveness at collecting receipts over time. And we can see here that this institution's receipts collected at the end of the month are predominantly late. Furthermore, the weighted average terms and the actual weighted average days to collect highlights the issue of late payments by customers. Key stakeholders can access this dashboard and quickly identify their biggest offending customers by receipt amount. By selecting the graph icon, you can be taken to a detailed breakdown of each receipt that belongs to that customer in the chosen period.
Thanks, Catherine. I'm going to talk a bit more about the Axiom solution now again. You're able to transform your data into insights that can empower intelligent decisions with Axiom reporting analytics module. You're able to analyse and visualise financial and operational data to identify and highlight records, variances and improvement opportunities. While other performance management tools simply offer reports, we offer timely data and robust capabilities that are able to bring your university decision makers the answers they need. Again, I've mentioned this before, but it's one version of the truth. You've got an easy-to-use interface. Our reporting and analysis tool seamlessly integrate data from any source into the single repository for your planning, analysis, and reporting. And it's any user on any platform. You can make critical performance information available anytime and anywhere to enable users to access reports, spot trends, conduct ad hoc analysis, and make timely informed decisions regardless of location. The last year has shown how you need ability to model the normal, the unexpected, and even the improbable, and you need the ability to change track very quickly. Axiom enables you to create local scenarios for your own internal planning and decide what versions of the truth you use for your central reporting. You can then model against the local data collection to provide a rich and deep data set to satisfy both local and central needs. Plans can be updated as part of a planning timetable, or you can have them open to constant update. You decide what suits your needs. And you can also have many planning cycles running in parallel as you need. Modeling can happen against your existing structures or be run against newly planned structures, all brought together with Axiom's reporting and analytics to visualize the results to help you make the decisions you need quickly and efficiently. Whether it's a simple chart showing how your different scenarios compare to each other as shown here, Axiom has the tools to visualize all your data effectively and can be delivered on any platform, whether it's your PC, your desk, a tablet, or even on your phone. All our reporting can also be exported to Excel or PDF. Our inbuilt visualization tools offer facilities to ensure your planning is as efficient as possible, offering a diverse way of visualizing and delivering the data in its warehouse for external sources from user input and from models run within Axiom. Our dashboards can be made interactive to help you get the insight you need from your data, and you should let Axiom identify your outliers or areas with variance issues, and you spend your time drilling into that data to see the cause and deal with that, rather than spending your time trying to identify the anomalies. With Axiom software, you no longer have to rely on manual processes or compiled spreadsheets that only the creator really understands how they work. Our customized reporting dashboards support a breadth of needs from departmental variance analysis to board packs and everything in between. You can easily create reports or dashboards to highlight trends, variances, and outliers, and automate distribution in a variety of formats, making executive reporting quick and efficient. You use our extensive security model data can be secured to your needs, and you can tailor dashboards to the role of the user. Most finance professionals wear many hats, and they could be a budget holder themselves and also responsible for monitoring performance across many departments. Axiom can handle this with the user able to move between roles seamlessly and easily getting the visualizations, tools, and insight they need for the role they need to occupy at that point in time. Again, it's that one version of the truth in one system. And our latest release now includes Power BI as a fully embedded feature. This extends our already extensive reporting analytics to a new level. You're able to leverage Axiom's data warehouse in full, including your user security model, to provide industry-leading reporting and analytics. Axiom itself uses Excel as its main admin user interface to build your planning, reporting, and models, and also administer its core features. In addition to that, your local Power BI skills can also be used within Axiom to bring the reporting analytics to your users, utilizing one data source security model for all your planning and reporting.
Taking us through the sector challenges and looking at the powerful solutions to help with agile planning. Really interesting to information on how we manage cash, not only to produce the cash flow statements, but also looking at customer payment habits. We've also found the Power BI integration an interesting addition to our product set, as we're seeing a lot of customers moving to this platform for analytics. So very exciting times. Don't forget to use the question icon in the task pane on the right hand side if you've got any queries about today's session. We're going to take a look at one of our clients in a little more detail. UCL is one of our largest clients worldwide, actually, with over 4,000 users. It's no wonder that UCL is frequently listed as one of the top universities in the world, with more than 42,000 students, nearly half of whom are international, and a current 1.6 billion development program, including a new campus in East London. Axiom and UCL have been working together for around 8 or 9 years now, and we support the university with reporting and analytics across several planning areas, as well as a detailed planning for payroll at employee level, which makes up a large amount of their expenditure. With over 13,000 employees, UCL's budget and forecasting processes were often time-consuming, often starting in April and then running past the year end, with inconsistent data between disparate sources and a lack of visibility to key business drivers. To add to that, many external challenges from the impacts of COVID and Brexit, an anticipated fall in student numbers and income and rising costs, risks to government funding and research grants, along with challenges of pension deficit, reputation, student experience. That's a really nice quote from Phil Harding, who's the Director of Finance and Business Affairs, saying that Axiom is the heart of their financial planning and analytics. So the solution, UCL required more accurate financial management information data at board level to help monitor the financial health of the university. For the finance teams, blending the costs of current operations with important decisions on capital expenditure have helped UCL create a robust long-term objectives, coupled with solid financial plans driven from KPIs to enable correct decisions to be made. As I mentioned, with over 4,500 users of Axiom, UCL required a solution that effectively manages security. The university has taken full advantage of Axiom's user-based security settings to ensure proper oversight of sensitive data, which is fully integrated with Oracle Financial's security model. And the outcomes, the results, by implementing Axiom, UCL have moved to more self-service model. End users have access to more data than ever before, shortening the budget cycle and improving reporting, saving time in budgets and planning processes by having visibility of the results immediately. Data accuracy was improved by Axiom's ability to integrate directly with other source systems, including Oracle and SITS, and ensuring agility in UCL's planning and empowering thousands of end users with reporting solutions, which integrates multiple data sources and is accessible to end users on all platforms, including tablets. So in summary, big thanks to Catherine and Julian for taking us through today's webinar, and we hope you found it interesting and informative, and see how Axiom can help you redefine your financial planning and analytics processes to manage the sector challenges ahead. Specifically, it will help with planning a wide range of outcomes that can be delivered to the board to assess with key decisions, which will lead to better anticipation of the challenges ahead. It will also help to automate the budget cycles with full workflow and sign-off, which will lead to better collaboration as well as more accurate financial and KPI data that feeds into these models. And it's on, as Julian mentioned, a single unified platform, bringing together a lot of disparate data into one single planning, reporting, and analytics platform. We're going to open up for questions.
Okay, thanks, Lex.
Yeah,
I've had a question by email before the session, which I was going to address first before we get to. They've got one question in from Rizwan at the moment, and it also references something Luke put on chat as well. So yeah, Luke gave us a prompt on. We said that the reduction in surplus was unknown, and I think what we really meant by that is varied across each institution. And you're right, Luke. There are obviously your home fees have become fixed, but we've seen a number of universities whose home intake this year is actually very high. So the income from that is actually going up, so it sort of offsets some of the flattening of the fees. But then again, depends how. I mean, overseas students have gone down this year, and the main one I want to talk about was your increase in pension costs. And the question I had before the session was why we didn't specifically mention it in the the advertising. And those of you with a large USS presence are expecting and waiting for the revaluation to come in to see what your employer contributions are going to be going forward. And I suspect that applies across other pension schemes as well. But I know USS is a particular hot topic at the moment. And I think it's a bit like the tuition fees as well, that some institutions that is going to be a big factor and some isn't. And I think the point being is that you need to be able to plan differently at different institutions, and whether whatever your drivers are. So if you're heavily teaching, then obviously you're looking at FTEs coming through the door, your applicant model, and your tuition fee rates, and the split between your home and overseas, and how the EU students turning to overseas is going to impact you. But it could be that the costs are the major driver, or just something sitting next to that. So your USS employer contributions to cover whatever deficit the revaluation shows, or it could be your capital spending going forwards, or if you're a UCL, it's a mixture of all three. So yeah, thanks for that question. Our next question is from Rizwan. I'm going to give this one to you, Lex. Is Axiom able to capture longer term budgets, for example, 2 to 3 years in advance?
Yeah, actually, there's another question there which is very similar from James. But yeah, we kind of we're able to create planning models that expand out to multiple years, and we have many examples of customers that are capturing longer term budgets. In fact, slightly outside of the sector, but Capita is one that does about a 10-year budget, and actually there's a mixture of period captured data as well as annually. So actually we can start breaking it out not only by period but into annual buckets as well, which is quite useful for users who obviously don't want to budget necessarily at period granular level when it comes to 3 to 4 years in advance. Sorry, the other question, I'm just going to dive in on that other question as well, about rolling forecasts. Is that all right, Julian?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So yes, we are able to do rolling forecasts. We have some nice tools in Axiom that enable us to obviously bring actuals in. So we'll bring up actuals into the current period, and then you can then forecast out to either to the end of the year, or a year in advance, or even further, as I've mentioned. But yeah, that's definitely capable of doing that, and we have tools that kind of lock down the current periods if you don't want users to input against those. So we only open up the forecast periods when we're looking at inputs. But as mentioned, we've got a deeper dive session at the end of March. So you're more than welcome to join us and take a look at some of these products that we have.
The thing I've also seen is that some users will have planning processes sitting very isolated. So you'll have a staff planning thing for a certain exercise, but the real power comes when you start integrating those planning exercises together. So you might have a local department level who are actually running a rolling forecast, and they're just keeping their numbers up to date. And essentially, you're taking a cut of that whenever you need it, whatever your timetable is, and you might be doing some modelling on those figures and letting that inform your longer term plans. And that's where you get the real advantage of something like Axiom, because it enables you to use your planning in different ways for different types of user, and then take that data right up to board level effectively at the end of that process, using your hierarchies and the consolidation that Axiom does automatically. And I've found that is the best way of implementing Axiom at university. So you look at the user base, what they need out of it. So at the local department level, you're getting a rolling forecast. So they're doing 2 to 3 years, and in the centre, they're probably extrapolating some of that to the 5-year plan, or 10 or 15, whatever your local strategy is. And obviously, the further you go out, the more summarised it becomes, and your capital spending becomes more of an interesting feature.
Yeah, I think also we're able to capture some, which we've seen at UCL as well, capture some high-level targets. So that may well come from sort of longer-term strategic planning, and then we do a bottom-up budgeting exercise, and it's really just marrying the two. So we're able to kind of report against both the targets and the kind of bottom-up budget. and then really just see how close they are. So I think it's really interesting when you do that exercise, and managing that iteration is fairly interesting, because obviously you can then use Axiom's workflow to send workbooks back to budget holders, and it really gives the board level confidence in the numbers that they're receiving.
Right, I've had another one in from James about data integration. I'll start this, Lex, and jump in if I'm whatever I miss. Yeah, UCL is Oracle and SITS. They used to be Northgate Payroll as well, ResourceLink, but they've gone full Oracle house now. So yeah, we're fully integrated there. UCL take data from literally every module. So they've obviously got the GL, and there's something called subledger accounting, but expenses, procurement, purchasing, fixed assets, their grants module, payables, receivables. So if you at UCL, if a user wants to know who approved their expense claim on what date, they do that in Axiom they can drill down from their accounts, and also they use it for all their grant reporting as well. So the PIs, and as you know, UCL is a big research institution, get full access to all their budget and their actuals and their variances to date and all that sort of thing, and they get monthly investigator reports burst out to them by PDF for the ones who don't want to log in. So the vast majority do log in, because obviously the data is being updated daily, so it's more accurate than something sat in your inbox for 2 or 3 days. So yeah, we do Oracle and SITS. As I mentioned in the slides, we're an Alucium partner, so if you're not SITS, you're probably Banner, and that covers about 90% of UK HE for student. So if you're bringing your student AR in, or whether it's your enrolment data or your applicant data, to do some student number planning, which obviously drives your tuition fee forecast if you're interested on the money side, or you can just stop at the FTE and headcount side if you're using that to inform possibility for halls resident spaces, or library for licenses on software and books and all this sort of thing. So it's not just about the financials, and the same applies for staff planning as well. So if you're doing your staff planning, it's all headcount and an FTE, and I used to say about office space, but I think that's a different kettle of fish coming out the other side of COVID, how you guys are going to manage your staffing and where they're going to sit and how they're going to work going forward. So I was definitely, my last few years in HE had hot desk arrangements, and I think that's going to go across the sector more and more as space in city centres in particular becomes expensive. Above and beyond that, we have clients using for probably whatever system you're going to say you're on. So we have a lot of people using it with SAP for their finances, and for everything in between. Aggresso, obviously, which is a very popular finance solution in UK higher education. And you have the ability to seamlessly integrate. UCL have Axiom hooked into their systems, and it goes and pulls the data it needs when it needs it. Other clients will push the data at the time they feel is suitable. It depends on your security model and what you're comfortable with, but we can cope with both. And Axiom also takes local files, so whether it be an Excel sheet or a CSV, you can load anything from any source effectively. I've not seen any problems with data integration at any of our clients, and I say they're pretty varied, from UCL to London Borough Bexley to Capita to Heineken to Transport for London. And I mean, Transport for London don't use us for financials at all. It's an asset management system they use us for. So, but data integration is one of our key strengths, and I'm happy that we can do all that. And we've got an enterprise scheduler. So some people literally have things grabbing data every 5 minutes. So they take new records every 5 minutes. If you're running a big ERP like Oracle, you're probably waiting quite a while for something like that to finish all its postings. So you'll probably grab those daily. Again, to quote UCL, they take most of their data overnight, with the exception of some data gets grabbed on a more regular basis around purchasing, if I remember rightly. So, but again, that's all automated and you manage by exception. So that's how that works.
Thanks, Julian. I don't think I've got anything to add to that.
Okay.
I think you pretty much covered everything there.
Yeah.
No, that's great. A great answer. I don't think there were any more questions. Did you have any more outside of did you get any more emailed in or anything?
No, I just had a couple about pensions, obviously, because I think that's, like I said, it's a big cost. It's a massive cost. So it's slightly hidden as well. So the percentage that universities are paying on a regular basis to cover deficits and forecasted deficits and stuff. So it's all, but again, they're having to plan for that. So that's the only one I had.
Okay, I think we'll wrap up then. If you can just move to the next slide. Yeah, I'll just draw your eye to a couple of events that we're doing in March. We're presenting at BuffDug this year, so if you haven't registered for this event, go ahead and do so. I believe it's free this year. We're presenting with the head of planning at UCL, who will be talking in detail about their challenges and how they've navigated through COVID using Agile planning and insights into their full aspirations for Axiom in the future. So do join us for that. That's on the 18th of March at 11:15. Then we're going to do a deep dive session, as we've mentioned. So a demonstration on the 31st of March at 10 a.m. And this is just a deeper dive into our HE solutions. So that's the grant modeling, the income, fee income modeling, as well as some other bits and pieces within the product, such as payroll planning and expense planning. So do join us for that. That should be really interesting, and we hope to see you there. So hope you had enjoyed today's session. If you've got any further questions or want us to talk about some of your issues, please do contact us directly. We put our emails up there, or do use the hello@axiomepm.co.uk, and you can book a discovery call with us. So we're really happy to come to talk to you about your issues and some of your challenges going forward. And yeah, I think we're a bit early. I'll give you 4 minutes back of your time. So thanks again for joining us today, and have a great day.